Hello and welcome. I'm Lorianne Lumby with Authentic Freedom Academy, and today is Thursday, January 13th, 2022, and this is our weekly spiritual service. And I just want to say thank you and welcome to everyone who is here with us live today. We've got a full house, and that's exciting. And also a welcome to those that will participate through the archived recording at another time. So with that, we'll dive right into our gathering today. And the theme today is anchoring our new world. And with that in mind, I just invite you to begin by closing your eyes. And I invite you to draw your awareness to your breathing, and at the same time, to become aware and conscious of your feet on the ground, or if you're sitting in a chair or on a couch and your feet aren't touching the ground, to feel a sense of your seat connected with the chair, couch, or floor where you're seated. And bringing your awareness to that connection, also becoming aware of that sense of being connected and supported. Feeling the full contact of the bottom of your feet, connecting with the sole of your shoe or the floor or the ground. If you're seated, feeling that full contact of the chair or couch or floor as it connects with the back of your legs, your thighs, your calves. If you're seated in a position where you have support on your back, feeling that sense of connection and support. Allowing yourself to really connect with and focus on that sense of being held, of being supported. Just pause for a moment in silence, allowing ourselves to really sink into that sense of being held and supported. And bringing your full attention to this present moment, I invite you to listen to these words from the prophet Isaiah. For Zion's sake, I will not be silent. For Jerusalem's sake, I will not be quiet, until her vindication shines forth like the dawn and her victory like a burning torch. Nations shall behold your vindication, and all the kings your glory. You shall be called by a new name, pronounced by the mouth of the Lord. You shall be a glorious crown in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem held by your God. No more shall people call you forsaken or your land desolate, but you shall be called my delight and your land espoused. For the Lord delights in you and makes your land his spouse. As a young man marries, your builder shall marry you. And as a bridegroom rejoices in his bride, so shall your God rejoice in you. As I was reflecting on this reading from Isaiah, it felt very much reflective of the ongoing conversations we've been having about this strange experience of human evolution that we've been moving through, and increasingly so, uh, more obvious, more startling the last several years. I've been consciously aware of the language around this kind of evolution that we've been moving through since somewhere around 2008, maybe a little bit earlier. And it's been interesting to watch the amping up of these experiences, the amping up of the death throes of the dying world, along with the amping up of people, women and men coming together, communities coming together in support of something new. As we've just crossed the threshold into a new year, and we all know that time is random and a human construct, at the same time, there is some sort of collective awareness of crossing a threshold and moving into a new world or a new year. And I know as many of us have come into 2022, there's been a sense of hesitation, trepidation of, oh shit, is this just going to be another year of hell? Or are things actually going to start moving in a hopeful and positive direction? And in connecting with the larger community that I'm connected with beyond this circle, there seems to be a universal, unanimous, not anonymous, unanimous observation or experience of somewhat of another one of these void times, like a feeling of almost being held back, definitely feelings of emptying, and many experiences and opportunities for what I would call temptation. And in the spirit of transparency, I will share with this community that these first 2 weeks of 2022 have been I don't want to say difficult. Unsettling is maybe the best language to use. For myself, that unsettling is coming up as the faces of doubt. All of those little things that trigger my doubts, that trigger my fears, that trigger, oh my God, am I really just on the wrong path? Am I completely delusional? Have I just made this crap up my whole entire life? Like, why have I been working in this field for 30 years with no capitalistic rewards? And it's been a challenge because the doubts are definitely there. They're definitely present. The temptation to engage in those doubts are definitely there. The regular triggers, the things that are triggers for me specifically, have been coming up over and over and over. And without a lot of, I guess I would say, without a lot of things to comfort that. And I know I'm not alone in that. I think many of us, if not all of us, are kind of standing with our toes just barely over the threshold going, do I keep going? Or do I go grab one of those blue pills and return to the world of illusion? And it's a very real question. And ultimately, there's no wrong answer. Because on some theory, on some level, we do have free will. On another level, as many of us have discussed in this circle, I'm not sure how much free will there is. It seems as if when we are called into this kind of transformational work, and when we are called to be vessels and examples of it, that we're dragged into it kicking and screaming, and that when we try to run away from it, we're dragged even harder. So where does that leave us? And I think I certainly don't have any answers except to say, I think that where we are right now is in another one of these void places. And something came across my desk yesterday that spoke about the dark moon, which I know that we're not in the dark moon right now. And I think we're approaching the full moon. So we're not anywhere close to being in the dark moon period. But the dark moon is the day before the new moon. And it is the day in which the moon is in total darkness. And ancient peoples honored that dark moon time as a time of rest, as a time of retreat, as a time of simply allowing nothing, to really just be in the being and be in the allowing, without getting drawn into the temptation of doing for the sake of doing, which I will confess in a transparent way that I've been definitely doing for the sake of doing the last few days. Because this void is really uncomfortable. There's an antsiness and an impatience and a frustration that comes when there seems to be nothing before us and we've left everything behind and there's no light at the end of the tunnel yet, or there's seemingly no light at the end of the tunnel. So anchoring our new world is maybe the wrong theme for today, but I'm going to segue into that. So what we can do right now is just be, and allow ourselves to be in the discomfort of the void, allow ourselves to be in that place of questioning and doubting and being tempted and feeling frustrated and confused. And really just allowing ourselves to enter into that void time, as uncomfortable as that might be. And to offer some support with that piece, interestingly, this morning, as I did my normal everyday pulling a tarot card, I got the moon card. And the moon card is just about that. It's sit still, be quiet. Don't try to make things happen. Just allow. Be quiet, close your eyes, sleep, nap, pray, rest. Don't do, just be. And as we are allowing ourselves to enter into this void time, we are also invited to remember our own vision of what our authentic world feels like to us. What does your soul need? How is your soul speaking to you about your natural rhythm? The ways in which you want to spend your time and your energy, with whom and how you want to spend that time and that energy. To recognize and entertain the idea of creating space for that which is life-giving. That which is life-giving for you. What are the creative pursuits that give you joy, that nourish your soul? What are the gifts that you have that, number one, bring you your own fulfillment, but also might be how you're called to be of service to the world? And everyone in this circle today has taken my What's Your Magic class, so y'all know what your gifts are. So as we're in this void time, the invitation is to hang on to that vision of what your own personal new world looks like, what it feels like, how you feel living within the flow that is appropriate and right for your soul, and continuing to hang on to that vision. Because as the world, as we currently know it, tears itself apart, and as we hope and dream and pray and wish for the world out there to get its shit together and create a world that is more loving and sustaining and hopeful, we ultimately don't have the power to make that change without first creating that change for ourselves. So my invitation as we continue to move through this void time is to hang on to that vision of your own personal new world. And in any way that you are able to begin to create space for that and to take the steps necessary to doing that which is life-giving. and continuing to say no to that which is not.